Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're jumping into something pretty exciting, the AI face swap revolution. We're looking at this free tool that's, well, it's putting up some shockingly realistic results. Our aim here is to really cut through the hype and get you properly informed fast.
Exactly. And we're zooming in on Comfy UI. It keeps coming up as like a really strong tool, maybe the strongest, for video face swapping. The main thing, it's free. And the quality, it's genuinely excellent. You might be pretty amazed, actually.
And when we say shockingly realistic,
Yeah.
we really mean it. We've seen these examples, right? Taking someone's face and putting it onto, say, a president in a video. And the descriptions are like extremely natural and similar. It's not just a silly filter anymore.
No, not at all. The quality is, yeah, astounding. The way the faces blend is so natural, sometimes it's really hard to spot the swap.
Which is kind of the point, isn't it? It basically puts professional level effects, almost anyone can access them now. Think about the creative stuff people could make.
Absolutely. It democratizes it, like you said. It lets people make content that looks super polished just, from their own computer.
That viral potential, it's huge. It sort of reminds me of that phrase,
Yes.
which roughly translates to something like being so absorbed in an activity you neglect other things.
Right.
And look, that's not judging. It's just recognizing how captivating these tools can be. They can be addictive in a way.
Yeah.
You can make some very happy things, as the source put it.
It's true. It's incredibly engaging. And speaking of creating stuff,
Yeah.
a quick but important point. If you're looking for models on sites like Civitai, which a lot of people use for Comfy UI,
Right, that's a popular one.
yeah, just be aware you really need to toggle the little eye filter. It hides the explicit content. It's a powerful tool, and, well, that means there's all sorts of content out there. So just a heads up.
Good point. Okay, so the results are impressive, maybe even viral worthy. But how does Comfy UI actually do this? What's under the hood? What's the secret sauce?
Right. So the core of it is what they call the node-based workflow, OSHU.
Node-based. What does that mean in practice?
Think of it like building with digital Lego blocks. Instead of just typing a sentence and hoping, you connect different blocks or nodes. Each node does a specific job, loading a model, upscaling, applying the face swap effect, You visually link them together. This gives you like incredibly fine-grained control over every single step.
Okay, so it's much more hands-on than some other tools where you just give it a prompt.
Exactly. You're not just a passenger, you're actually building the engine piece by piece. This lets you create really complex, highly customized animations or video effects. You can see the data flowing, tweak every setting.
That sounds powerful, but maybe a bit intimidating for beginners, like compared to a standard video editor.
It can seem that way at first, yeah. There's definitely a learning curve steeper than your average app. But the visual aspect helps a lot. Once you get the basic idea, seeing how things connect actually makes it quite intuitive for many people. You understand why it's doing what it's doing.
Right, you see the whole process laid out.
Precisely. And here's a really neat feature. You can embed your entire workflow, all those connected nodes, right into a PNG image file.
Seriously, into the image itself.
Yeah. So sharing your complex setup is literally as easy as sending someone a picture. They just drag the image into their Comfy UI and boom, the whole workflow loads.
Wow, okay, that's clever. That makes sharing and repeating things way easier.
Definitely. It's great for collaboration or just saving your own successful setups.
So that level of control is amazing. But what if setting it all up locally sounds like a lot? Or if someone doesn't have a beast of a machine, are there easier ways in?
Yeah, that's a really important question. Accessibility matters. Local install gives you the most power, sure, but there are alternatives. Things like Comflowy exist. It lets you run Comfy UI in the cloud just through your browser.
Ah, okay, so no local hardware needed for that.
Pretty much. Or you can find free versions on platforms like Kaggle, which sometimes offer access to like a 32 GB GPU for free.
Okay.
It really lowers the barrier to entry if the hardware is the main issue.
Okay, so the free tool part is true, which is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But as always, there's usually a but, right? A reality check. What do you actually need to get this running yourself, especially if you go the local route?
Right. This is the catch, if you want to call it that. The hardware demands for running this locally are significant. You basically need a pretty serious gaming PC or workstation.
Okay, break it down for us. What are we talking about?
First up, the GPU. You absolutely need an NVIDIA GPU. And not just any NVIDIA card. They strongly recommend an RTX series card with at least 16 gigabytes of VRAM.
16 gigs of VRAM. That's the memory on the graphics card itself, right?
Yeah.
Why so much?
Sure. Exactly. It's critical because these AI models, the ones doing the heavy lifting for image generation and face swapping, they need a ton of that fast memory to run efficiently. Older cards, like maybe the MX series or older GTX ones, they might not even support the necessary tech like CDO, or they'll just be way too slow. 16 GB VRAM is kind of the baseline for smooth operation here.
Got it. So, powerful NVIDIA RTX card, minimum 16 GB VRAM. What else?
Storage. You really want a fast SSD, specifically an M.2 SSD.
The ones that plug straight into the motherboard.
Yes, because the model files you'll be loading are huge. We're talking like 6.5 gigabytes per model, sometimes more. An M.2 drive, especially a newer Gen 4 one, can read data incredibly fast, like 7,000 megabytes per second, versus maybe 500 for a traditional SATA SSD. That speed makes a huge difference when loading things up.
Makes sense. Big files need fast loading. And system RAM.
32 gigabytes of regular RAM is recommended. It just helps keep everything running smoothly when you've got the OS, Comfy UI, and these big models all going at once.
Okay, so beefy GPU, fast M.2 SSD, plenty of RAM. This means, like, the average school computer or basic laptop is probably not going to cut it.
Generally, no. You're usually looking at a dedicated personal notebook, a workstation, or maybe accessing a powerful machine remotely. There is technically a CPU-only mode, but, well, expect it to be incredibly slow, like unusably slow for video.
Right. And one more thing for desktop users.
Yes. Power supply. If you're upgrading an existing desktop PC to add one of these powerful GPUs, don't forget the power supply unit, the PSU. These cards draw a lot of power. You'll likely need something in the 800 watt to 1,000 watt range, depending on the specific card and the rest of your system.
Good point. Easy to overlook.
Okay.
Okay, so hardware sorted. Let's say you've got the Beast machine. What about the software setup? What do you actually need to install?
Right, software side, a few key things. First, you'll need Git. It's a version control system, often needed for downloading and updating these kinds of tools.
Standard developer tool, basically.
Pretty much. Then, obviously, you need Comfy UI itself. You download the official client. The good news is they now have a direct installer package, Comfy UI Desktop Beta, for Windows with NVIDIA GPUs. It makes the setup much easier than it used to be, where you often had to mess with command lines.
That's helpful. Anything else?
Yes, and this is the crucial one, often missed, especially for face swapping. You need to install components from Microsoft Visual Studio, specifically the C++ desktop development workload.
Visual Studio, like the programmer tool. Why is that needed just for a face swap app?
It seems weird, I know, but it's because the specific library that does the core face detection and swapping, it's often a component called Insight Face.
Okay, so that's the AI bit that actually understands faces.
Exactly, and that component relies on C++ libraries and SDKs that are part of that Visual Studio workload.
Yeah.
You need specific things like the Windows 10 or 11 SDK, the C++ templates. It's a big download, maybe 20-something gigabytes.
Wow. Okay, so that's a major prerequisite people might not expect.
Definitely. Without those C++ components, the face swap part just won't work, even if Comfy UI itself seems to run fine.
All right, so let's assume someone's wrestled with the hardware, endured the massive downloads, got Git, Comfy UI, Visual Studio components all installed. Now what? How do they actually do the face swap?
Okay, the home stretch. Once Comfy UI is installed, you run it. First time, it might automatically download some default models it needs. Just let it do its thing.
Right.
Then you'll want to use the built-in Comfy UI Manager. It's usually installed by default now or easily added. It's like an app store for Comfy UI extras. Use the manager to search for and install the Reactor node for Comfy UI.
So that's the actual face swap plugin we need to add.
That's the main one, yes.
Yeah.
Install it, and then you'll need to restart Comfy UI.
Okay, install Reactor node, restart, then.
Then you need the actual AI model for the face swapping. The popular one is called InSwapper 128. It's usually a .onxx file or similar. You have to download that separately.
And where does that file go?
This is important. It needs to go into a specific folder inside your Comfy UI installation, usually Comfy UI root models Insight Face. You might even need to create that Insight Face folder yourself if it doesn't exist.
Got it. Reactor node installed, InSwapper 128 model downloaded and put in the right place. What next?
Now you need a workflow. People usually show these as JSON files. You find a video face swap workflow file, and you literally just drag and drop it onto the Comfy UI interface.
Okay, drag the workflow file in. Will it just work?
Maybe, but you might hit a common issue. Missing node types errors. It might say, for example, it doesn't recognize Reactor face swap.
Even though we installed it.
Sometimes, yeah. Don't panic. Go back to the manager. There's usually an option like install missing custom nodes. Click that, let it run, and restart Comfy UI again. Sometimes you might need to click try fix or even reinstall the reactor node if problems persist. It can be a bit fiddly sometimes.
Okay, so handle potential missing nodes, and then the magic happens.
Yeah, pretty much. Once the workflow loads correctly, you'll see the nodes. You'll find nodes where you can upload your source image, the face you want to use, and another node to load your target video, like that president example.
Yeah.
You can often select which frames to process or the whole video, and then you just hit the Q prompt button and let it run.
And out comes the face-swapped video. Amazing. So quite a journey then, from just being wowed by the possibility through the pretty demanding technical setup to finally getting those impressive results. Hopefully this deep dive has given you that shortcut, that clear understanding of what's involved with this powerful free tool.
Absolutely. And maybe it leaves us with a final thought to chew on. Given that this kind of AI generation, this customizable face swapping, is becoming so accessible, what does that really unlock? What new kinds of creativity or learning tools, or maybe even just fun, does this open up? What could you imagine doing with it? And maybe just as importantly, what responsibilities come with having these kinds of tools readily available? Something to think about.